This is HQ again, and we are here on this Wednesday afternoon with an interesting topic called Why do you think submission in the bedroom is the same as submission outside the bedroom? Submission. Submission to men comes across as very slavish to women. And I don't know why. I mean, I can only think or surmise why a man or a woman would feel as though she's under the rule and thumb of a man. I guess it goes back to people wanting to be traditional, wanting the traditional roles, religious reasons. It's I guess men feel as though it may refer to her having respect for the relationship and to support a man's leadership within the family and, you know, relationship, which means cooperation, mutual respect, goals. I guess in a healthy partnership, submission might simply mean trusting your partner's judgment in certain areas or taking turns leading based on each other's strength and weaknesses. It's more about mutual collaboration, support, and it's not a one sided thing. I have heard people interchange submission. People say submission, she submits to me. When a woman is a hyena outside the bedroom, she's not submitting. She may be submitting inside the bedroom, but she's not submitting outside the bedroom. Submission in the bedroom and outside the bedroom differ because they involve different contexts and purposes between two people. In the bedroom, when you submit in the bedroom, it often involves consensual temporary power dynamics, intimacy, desire. It's partly mutually agreed upon lovemaking, scenarios, safety, those type things. Submission outside the bedroom, however, relates to interpersonal relations or dynamics shaped by society, cultural, relational norms. It can involve long-term partners, short-term partners, different patterns of deferment, yielding, which extends to decision making and behavior in real life. Submission in the bedroom. It has purpose and intent. The intent is usually to explore fantasies and enhance connections and heighten pleasure. Submission is situational, and it's oftentimes performed for mutual satisfaction. Outside the bedroom, however, submission might stem from a relationship dynamic, cultural, or personal beliefs. Power hierarchies. It may not always be voluntary or pleasurable. In the bedroom, power dynamics. Power dynamics in the bedroom are often staged, exaggerated, dominant, submissive roles play a part in consensual fantasies and role plays. Both partners maintain equal negotiation in that particular area. Outside the bedroom, however, power dynamics may be more complex, rooted in hierarchies, religion, social structures, insecurities. It may not always be consensual or beneficial to both parties. Emotional impact that submission has. When submission inside the bedroom is consensual and respectful, it can foster trust, intimacy, mutual satisfaction. It's often explored with the awareness and care and concern for both partners. Outside the bedroom, however, submission might lead to feelings of empowerment or disempowerment or resentment and imbalance. If forced or unequal, it might significantly affect self-esteem, personal agency. People losing autonomy and control inside the bedroom. Submission often involves a sense of control or out of control, since it's often given willingly, pleasurably, with the understanding that it can be taken away, the safe word used. Outside the bedroom, however, submission might not be totally autonomous, and it can result in pleasure, manipulation, pressure, conditioning. Religious dogma might have a role. But you have to understand the differences between submission in the bedroom and submission outside the bedroom in order to understand the relationship dynamic. And I get it. Every person wants to be submissive in the bedroom because you want to yield to that personable, pleasurable thing that you have with another person. But not all people can be submissive outside the bedroom. That's another dynamic. Okay? There's reasons why women can be submissive inside the bedroom, but not outside the bedroom. She can be very independent. She values her autonomy, and she prefers to do the decision making. It's as simple as that. She's a feminist. She believes in mutual respect, equal power. Depends on the kind of woman that you have. Her upbringing or environment emphasizes independence, equality over traditional roles. Because there's not a lot of women that are traditional. I don't care what they say. We are modern day women. We are modern day women, and there are not that many traditional women. That just doesn't happen, because you would have to not be touched by the world that we live in today in order to say you're truly a traditional person. You know how to do traditional things, but you're not a traditional woman. A woman might not want to be submissive because of her past experiences, negative past relationships, previous experiences with people controlling and manipulating her. She don't want to do that. Hell no, I'm not going to be submissive to you. The last time I was being submissive, he acted up. She acted up. They didn't know how to act. When I gave them my submission, they manipulated me, used me, abused me. Trauma, abuse, a history of abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse. Some people just can't relinquish that kind of control. Some people just can't do it. And it has nothing to do with you, but some women just cannot do it. And you need to recognize the fact that you have a person who cannot do that. Not saying they can't be a good partner because they cannot be submissive. I'm just saying most people who have had trauma or been manipulated find it difficult to be submissive. Some women's personality traits won't allow them to be submissive. She has too much confidence. She has a strong sense of self-worth, right? And she's what you consider an alpha female. Ain't no way she gonna be submissive. But you got to know what type of woman you got. She's assertive. She's naturally outspoken, says what she feels, prefers to express her opinions, needs openly, and she don't care what you think. There's just some women who will do that. Highly ambitious, driven women. Okay. Usually when they're ambitious and driven, that falls over or falls into her personal life. And she cannot help that. So submission is a difficult thing to get out of those kind of women. Some women they desire a partnership, but they just can't. She wants a relationship built on mutual respect and partnership, right? He wants both of us to contribute equally, but he wants her to be submissive, and she can't do that. She believes in the teamwork dynamic, so therefore she's not going to be unequal in any relationship. She can't be submissive because her values and goals are misaligned with her partner's, what her partner expects. They might have different goals, dynamics. She may not agree with her partner's desire for a submissive, dominant role. And people may not even know that until they get into a relationship, until they get together. Communication might be off. Most women are going to resist being submissive because being submissive means trusting someone implicitly. I can be submissive in the bedroom and not be submissive outside of the bedroom. Plenty of people have that. These are things that you need to recognize in a relationship, recognize in your partner. Is she submissive in the bedroom? Of course. Sexually, she is all that. But when it comes to doing and asking what I need her to do and say and participate with, no, she's not. Okay. I told you when we did the submission piece before, submission only comes with trust of a person that's trustworthy and safety. That's when submission comes from a woman. She has to feel safe and she has to be trustworthy with a trustworthy individual. Building that trust is paramount for her to be submissive. Her feeling safe is the other component. Another reason why a woman probably would not be submissive to you. That's a part of it. Emotional safety, right? She may feel unsafe, unsupported, and submission might be a risk for her. And you have to recognize this person. Nobody wants to be exploited. Hit the like button when you guys come in. Please hit the like button. It would be greatly appreciated. That's free. Please hit the like button. Okay. She guards her autonomy fiercely, brutally. Okay. Women do that. The lack of control, they won't do the lack of control. Okay. Another reason why she won't do it, money. She feels as though she contributes equally to the relationship, so therefore she doesn't have to submit. You submit. You do what needs to be done to make the relationship or to smooth the relationship. You don't do what needs to do that. She contributes equally to the household income. So if she's contributing equally to the household or the income, she feels as though she can be independent. She doesn't have to be traditional. She has to take charge in the taking care of the kids, house management. If she has to do that, she may feel as though she's not going to be traditional. And on top of the fact that traditional roles or roles in relationship have changed. Contemporary relationships have been rejected, or no, traditional relationships have been rejected in lieu of the contemporary roles. She may see equality as the foundation of a relationship, and she may not want to go there and be the traditional person that you want her to be. And probably never will. This is something that you have to find out when you get involved with her. But let's see. I'll add this to it. Submission in your relationship can take a lot of forms. Okay. Being submissive doesn't mean losing your autonomy and agency or independence. It revolves around mutual respect between two partners. Trust, communication, has to be safety. Some of the things she can do is practice listening, actively listening, showing attentiveness to the partner's wants, needs, desires, thoughts, feelings, ideas. Listen to respond, listen to understand, not to listen to respond. Seek his leadership. Seek a man's leadership in a relationship, in a marriage. Defer to his judgment in certain areas where you trust his expertise, his decision making. Allow a man to be a man. Allow a man to stand on his own 2 feet. Allow him to take the lead in planning activities and solving those problems. Men are problem solvers. They like to do that. Let them take the lead on that. Show respect in communication, out in public, in front of the children. Speak to him kindly. Refrain from screeching. You don't have to be a hyena. Stop criticizing. No sarcasm. Honor and respect the role that he has in the relationship. Be grateful for the things that he do. Be supportive of the goals, aspirations, ambitions that he has. You have to be an emotional and practical support person when he needs it. This is how women practice submission outside of the bedroom. Be supportive. Offer help, but don't interject. Please hit the like button when you come in. Please hit the like button when you come in. Okay? Do small acts of kindness. Men like to be told they have expertise in certain things. Anticipation of what he wants, what he needs, desires, things that he wants to be done around the house. These are ways that you can be submissive outside the bedroom. Be willing to take constructive criticism in the relationship. Constructive criticism, men. Give constructive criticism, not denigration. Women have to learn to accept constructive criticism, feedback. Listen to his perspective. He has a male perspective. You have a female perspective. The same way he would want you to have a female perspective, you need to be able to give him the opportunity to be constructive to what you do. You have to trust his wisdom, his judgment. This is in character with a relationship, not I just met you relationship. This is the kind of relation we're talking about, real relationships, maybe marriages. Another way you can practice submission is prioritize him. Prioritize his comfort, his happiness. I know women do that a lot. I understand that they do. But make an effort to create a peaceful, cohesive family and household, right? Take time to understand what makes him happy, what makes him tick. And when you do that, you bring that into the family, you bring that into the household, and you incorporate those things every day. Ask him his preferences. Ask him what he would like you to do, how you want him to do, how he wants you to do it. Okay? Maintain the femininity. Maintain the femininity. Embrace your softness. Learn to wear dresses. Get your nails done, hair done. I have my hair done and my nails done and everything put together every morning because I want him to look at something beautiful. I want him to be reminded of me when he walks out the door, when he has a pep in his step. Embrace that softness. Nurture, have nurturing tendencies, okay? Be able to express yourself emotionally, but not erratically in conversations. Engage in the self-care. Like I said, take pride in what you look like, right? Wake up in the morning and take pride in what you look like. Don't just wake up with a bonnet. Don't go to bed with a bonnet all the time either. Go to bed looking, smelling good, looking good. Do those things. Avoid conflict and hyena-ish. Choose to de-escalate, not escalate. Because a lot of people just want to win. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button going in the door. Please hit the like button. Hit the like button. Support the channel. We have super chats or we had cash apps. Please support the channel if you like the content today. And hit the like button. Thank you. This is information I'm giving out. I'm giving out some information that would hopefully be helpful in relationships. Another way to be submissive in a relationship, choose to not fight. You don't have to win all the time. This is the single most important lesson that a woman can figure out is, do I want to win or do I want to soothe the savage beast? And a lot of women just want to win. Figure out that is the type of female that you are and adjust it accordingly. Okay? Please adjust it accordingly. Okay? Be willing to compromise and pick the battles wisely. My God. Trust his decision. You got to trust his decision. I'm sorry. Allowing him to make final decisions in areas where he feels confident that he is can conquer. Demonstrate faith in his ability to do that. Let a man be a man. Also, you can share your feelings, your insecurities, challenges, how much you are devoted to this person, how much you are devoted to this relationship. Defend and hold up and respect your relationship with this man. This is how you show submission outside of the bedroom. You create a safe space for him to shine in front of his children, in front of his family, without undermining that, because a lot of women undermine these things. Encourage him to embrace being a man. Don't undercut him in any way. Well, I know you don't know how to fix that, so I guess we're gonna have to call somebody to fix that. That undermines a man in the way wants to look as though he knows how to do things. He wants to be competent or be seen as competent. Don't undermine those things. Don't do that. And these are ways that a woman can be submissive outside the bedroom, right? But submission is a choice. Submission is a choice that a woman she chooses to do that. No woman is just going to walk into a relationship and be submissive. That doesn't happen. They have to choose it. Being submissive in the bedroom is way different from being submissive outside the bedroom. But a man has to foster the environment for her to be submissive outside the bedroom. Okay? But we all have to learn. We all have to do all of this in order for relationships to work. Okay? But a woman is the person that soothes what goes on, makes things happen. Because a man is going to stand up and be, what is it called? He's gonna have that armor on. Okay, there it is. He's gonna have an armor on. And the whole point is a man will not take that armor off. A man is not going to be submissive to you as the he's never going to do that. But here's the thing. He's never going to take that armor off. But what he can do is every once in a while open the armor up and let you see his heart and then close it. Close the armor. My husband was like that. He was like this. You love her? You love her? I had this example the other day. Somebody said, he's mean as hell to everybody else, but he ain't mean to me. He wants me. He loves me. He an asshole to everybody else except me. Right? And when people say a man doesn't submit to a woman, I'm not saying my husband submitted to me. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying I knew I was wanted. I knew I was loved because he would open his armor every once in a while and show me that I was the one, right? And this is what you want from a man, but you're going to have to be submissive. As a female, you're going to have to be submissive first. Okay? Because he's not gonna open himself up and then get shot in the head. Men just don't do that. Okay. Men just won't do it. I'm not saying if you're asking for 50-50, that's a difficult thing to be submissive over, right? People say if he's asking me 50-50, how is it that I can be submissive? But a lot of us in this dynamic, we have a lot of money. We make a lot of money. He makes a lot of money. And we do things to get. Some of you women are so independent. There's nothing wrong with being independent. There's a lot of women that are independent that you wouldn't let him pay for everything anyway. When a man says 50-50, he means, or a woman says 50, he means, okay, babe, you pay for the vacation, you pay for the food, and blah and cell phone or whatever, and then I'll pay all the electric, gas, water, blah, 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 right? But usually that's not 50-50. I wouldn't mind a man who said that. Hey, HQ, hey, I'm paying all of these. Do you mind getting the food? You pay for the food. If you pay for the food and maybe, handle the cell phone bill, we can make it work. I do everything else. That's not 50-50. And that's where most men will be. Most men will not be paying every inch of the bills, but he'll pay the bulk of the bills. There's nothing wrong with the bulk of the bills. Just take, for example, a factory worker or a, what is it called? A reach driver or one of those people, they make 60, 70,000. If you make 60, 70,000, you might be paying the car note and the cell phone bill or whatever, and he pays everything else. That's not 50-50, but you're still contributing to the household where he doesn't have to pay everything by himself. That's what most men want, right? Thank you, Mr. Walker. $5 super sticker. Thank you. Stephen James, $2. Thank you. $5 super sticker. Stephen James, in a disagreement, would you rather be right or happy? That's correct. Would you be right or I would rather be happy? Okay. The pink pill, $4.99. Shout out to HQ in the chat. So I'm saying submission in the bedroom is not that difficult to get. We don't want to, nobody wants to do 50-50. Nobody really wants to do that. You pay a bill, I pay a bill. If I just got to come up with the money, then you have a problem. When we just got to come up with the money. I don't want to have to come up with the money. But if you say, hey, babe, I'm kind of short. Can you pay this car note and blah, blah, blah? Not a problem. Because I want to grease the wheels in this relationship. I want to give you that cooperation. Okay. Somebody says, speak greatness over your mate. That's right. You speak greatness over your mate. You know how when you speak in a relationship and you supporting that person, and that person, every time you speak to that person, you say, yeah, baby, you can do it. You can do it. I'm going to let you do it. I'm not going to interfere, and you can do how you need to do. That gives people confidence to act on their own and trust their own decision making. My mother told me a long time ago, let a man be a man. Don't offer to help first and foremost. Let him be a man. Let him do what needs, let him figure it out. Because they can figure it out. They got brains just like you. They got brains just like the women. They can figure these things out on their own. And most men don't appreciate you jumping in and saying, I can help you. Let me give you some money. I'd be pissed off if I'd be pissed off as a man. Be like, no, I got this. Because a lot of men say that. Ain't that that's the first thing y'all say? I got this. I got this. Because you don't want her to jump in. Okay. But you also, as a female, you have a role to play. Your job is to soothe the way. Soothe the way in that relationship. And submission can happen. Submission can happen. But first, guys, you have to make sure that she trusts that you're going to do what you say when you say it. And you present a safe space for her to be vulnerable. Women, you also have to present a safe space for that man to be vulnerable too. No man is ever going to pull that armor off to you if you show yourself to be one of the people that will use it against him. Please hit the like button, guys. Please hit the like button. I'd appreciate super chats. I'd appreciate the Cash App. Anything that helps the channel, that would be nice. If you like the content today, please, thank you very much. And I'm saying please, hit the like button, hit the like button. Thank you. So these are the things that I'm presenting as why and how women can submit in relationships, why there is a difference between submitting in the bedroom. Hell, everybody wants to submit in the bedroom. Everybody want to submit in the bedroom, right? I mean, what's the point in going into the bedroom if you ain't going to submit in the bedroom? But submitting outside the bedroom is a little bit more complicated, okay? There has to be that mutual respect. People say yielding to a force stronger than oneself, okay? Trust. If you're a trustworthy individual, she will submit, okay? And I'm not saying lay down your life for this, lay down your armor for this woman. I am saying every once in a while, open the armor up that all men wear. All men wear an armor. Open that armor up and let her see your heart every once in a while. I'm not saying let it stay open because you do have some weirdos out there, but I'm saying open yourself up. Okay. And this is how we conduct and want to go forward in relationships. Okay. This is how I want to present the channel as a way for women to go forward in relationships and be the partners that people want them to be, and the men to be partners that I want them to be. We all have it in us. We all do, right? We fall, we falter. Our steps are wrong sometimes. But I think we can get there if we want to. If you want to be a better partner for somebody. And I get it, guys. You want a woman that's submissive. Submissive to a lot of men means she's not a hyena. And that's a part of it too. That hyena stuff doesn't work. Nobody wants to come home to a hyena. You're always right. You cannot always be right. It's either you're going to be right all the time or you're going to be happy all the time. Which one do you want? You want to be right or you want to be happy? And I feel like a lot of people want to be happy. So we need to start doing that. We need to start practicing that. See, it's not an easy thing to be submissive. It's not a natural state to be submissive. People keep thinking that it is, but it's not. Who was raised by nuns. I was raised by nuns, okay? Nuns. You know them old white ladies with them habits? Yes, I went to school all of my life since I was since I was 5 years old. I was raised by nuns, and they were submissive and demure, and they taught me that, and I studied religion, and I studied all of those things. So I understand what it is to be submissive in that submissive role. But me being the person that I was, who was a shit starter, I'm a shit starter, was difficult to understand what submission was. And I get it. You want autonomy. You want all of that. But you can have all of that in a relationship. But it has to be a deferral to the leader of that family if you want a relationship that works. And it's required. You cannot be a rah, rah, rah. You cannot be a hyena and expect the relationship to go. You can be independent. You can have your say. You can have things to do. But it's the way that you come across. It's the way that you present your ideas. It's the way that you speak that wins you at the end of the day. In the middle of an argument, just shut up. In the middle of an argument, just shut up. And think about what you're saying. Especially if you're hyper focused on winning. And a lot of women want to win instead of being submissive. I don't want to be on this planet as anything other than a female, as anything other than the feminine, soft, and delicate creature that I can be. Right? So my whole point is you can do that too. But understand that she, the female, cannot be anything other than what she is until you make her feel safe, wanted, and you're a trustworthy individual. And every person has that in them. Okay? Like I said, my philosophy is we're all in the middle. You can go one way or the other, or you can stick in the middle and be a regular, ordinary individual person. And all of us ordinary individual people want to have working relationships. Submission is a part of it. As a wife, as a person in a relationship, there is a little bit of submission somewhere. Please hit the like button when you come in, please. Hit the like button. Super chat would be great. Cash app would be great. All of those things. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. CMC's technique is class. Thank you for the $5 super sticker. Thank you, sir. Or ma'am. I'm not really sure who it is. Okay. What was that? Mr. Walker, $5. My wife taught me the power of speaking life. Yes. The power of speaking life into another human being. Yes. With her support. With her support. And so sometimes I come across as hyena-ish, but that's not me in a relationship. Okay? That's not me in a relationship. Not at all. As I said before, I love everything. I love life. I love people. I love individuals. Okay? But Stephen, not all of us are religious. I'm not religious. I take some of those tenets that come from religion, but I don't live a religious life like that. Okay? And some people do, a lot of people do. I'm hyena adjacent. I said that, right? I remember saying that, right? Hyena adjacent. And hyena adjacent women are able to get are able to know how to pull back that hyena when it's in a relationship. Okay. It is. I can't. I mean, because I love being here. I'm sorry. I love being here. Talking to people. It's not an evil laugh. It's just I like to have conversations with people, and I love to impart information. And I understand this is a big um uh, um big part of what men have a problem with women with, because they feel as though women won't submit. And I'm saying to you, it can happen. Women, and I'm talking to the women about what men need from you, and some of what women need from men in order for them to submit. Right? Q, thank you, Q, for the $5. Claim HQ is easier to digest. Lose the evil laugh, though. No, I'm not. I'm not trying to be evil. It's just that I'm having a good time because you guys are here. Thank you for coming. Please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Okay. Okay. So my whole thing is this: we want to do better. We want women to do better. We want men to do better. We want everybody to do better. Okay. But this is a start. We have to start with the component of men and not dragging them down. Not dragging down the whole process of what they're doing. We all need to build them up first, because kings rise first and then it's the queens. They're always first and then the queens. Okay. This is the way I look at it. Okay. And I've always said men are the ones that are going to drag us where we need to go or pull us where we need to go. They have to. Okay. and I want to completely and utterly do better. No, I'm not cackling. So if anybody wants to come up on the panel and say a couple of words about what I said, please do. You don't have to be up here too long. I think someone called and it did the phone didn't I don't know what was going on. Maybe they had the wrong phone, wrong something, right? So somebody called, but I couldn't figure out who it was before they hung up. So if somebody wants to call back, please call back. The Pink Pill, I'd love to have your take on what my submission piece was about, whether you thought it was okay. Q, if you wanted to say a couple words. Hi, Rain. Hello. Hello, everyone. Please hit the like button when you come in. Please hit the like button. Okay. Um, and our piece about submission is I you don't have to be on camera. I don't care about you being on camera. You don't have to be on camera. You can just speak and I can hear you. And you don't even have to come on the panel. I can hear you. We can hear you. She be playing on folks' phones. So this is how we want to go forward, right? Submission. Submitting to the will of a person stronger than you. Hi, Rose. Hello, how are you? The Pink Pill, Mr. Walker. We have all of you guys in the chat. I see Q. There's Rain. Okay. Thank you all for coming. Steven, Mr. Walker, CMC. We all have all the people in the house. So what did you think about it? And who has feelings about this submission? Do you have any reason why a woman would not want to submit that I have not put forward? Okay. It primarily has to do with the fact that she doesn't feel safe or she feels too vulnerable to do it. Okay. Too vulnerable to do it. Okay. My question would be, why does she feel so vulnerable that she would not want to do it? Okay. We got Mr. Walker on the stage. Hello, Mr. Walker.
HQ, what's going on with you?
Fine, thank you. What about our submission piece here? What do you
Submission. I think it's something you can't force. You
right?
can't force it. It's not something submission,
Mhm.
especially coming from a man, it's not something that you can demand, you have to command it.
Right.
And it's it's always gonna lead me back to my talking point that women should find a man that they are into. So
Mhm.
every time they look at this joker, they smit with him. They got the googly eyes for him. So that submission ain't even a question. She
Right.
don't mind because she recognizes him as her leader. She chose him.
Mhm.
She like him,
Mhm.
and that's the way it will work out. But
You
whenever
said
you
something. You said something in the chat. You said your wife taught you something. What was that?
my wife my wife taught me the power of talking life into one another. Yeah, I grew up around hyenas. Yeah, my mama and aunties and them, they were raging hyenas.
Raging
And,
hyenas.
and
Yeah.
they never said nice things. They never spoke life into anybody. It was always something wild shit, Heck,
Wow.
but get married to my wife and then seeing her family and just how my wife, she talk, all she do is say nice stuff. My wife she never says an ill thing to me.
Mm.
Never nothing negative at all. Like, I don't
Okay.
even know what that would feel like. And I didn't realize how unique I guess that was until I came on YouTube. I said, damn, y'all be getting cussed out by y'all lady. That's crazy as
Yeah,
hell.
they be cussing, they be wilding. Some of them just be, and then they don't even know that they're talking
That's
with the
crazy.
disrespect. With the disrespect, they don't even know that they're saying what they're saying. It's like it's second nature to some, right? And
Man.
it's my nature to withdraw, or it's my nature to be quiet because I
Hmm.
cannot talk to a man in that way. My father was a very commanding presence. My husband was a
Hmm.
very commanding presence. So I never learned to talk to men like
And,
rah rah
and,
rah until I
and you
came on here.
And you see that they
Right,
weren't demanding, they were commanding.
right.
With their presence, how they carried themselves, and
Mhm.
that's what it takes. And but if a woman can't respect the energy that you're bringing, then yeah, most likely,
Mhm.
it's going to be going. There's going to be submission issues.
Yeah, they presented. They commanded that. They commanded that. That respect right off the bat, and it was like I never even contemplated looking at them and saying, "You da da da." I never did. Was raised with my father, and he would walk into the room, and my mom would get instantly, she would instantly, smile, and then he'd say a joke, and then he'd walk into the bedroom, and then all of the kids were like scattering, right? Dad is walking through, we ain't saying nothing until he come out the bedroom, right? And once he came out the bedroom, he was jokes and smiles. And then I knew not to say anything crazy to him. And I
Mm.
learned that from being with my husband too. There was no way that I could say what I wanted to say, because he had a job where he was very um he had the rah 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 kind of job. So I felt as though I was sort of tad bit afraid of this person. You know what I'm saying? Just a tad bit. No, not afraid. I knew he could be an asshole. Let's put it that way. I knew he could be that way, and he never was that way with me, but I knew he was capable of that, which sort of put me. Well, I'm not gonna mess with that man. I definitely ain't gonna mess with
Exactly.
that man. Right.
Exactly. Now, before we go any further, I just want to ask the pink pill something. Pink pill
Mhm.
on a scale from 99 to 100, 100 being the highest. How bad do you want to beat me, huh?
101.
What?
Exactly.
I want to say something. I want to say something.
Yes, Miss
H-
Pink Pill.
HQ, this is
Mhm,
the kind of content that I've been looking for.
mhm,
I've never heard my mother say anything positive about a man in my life besides her own brother.
mm,
And we need like more. I'm not trying to call you old, but women who came before me, like seriously
mhm,
to be
mhm,
like an example,
mhm,
because if we don't have you as a vessel speaking like this about men and like
mhm,
towards ladies, we're gonna be lost and we're not gonna know what to do. That's why so many modern women are the way they are, because they don't have any direction.
mhm,
So I just
mhm.
came on here to say that,
Well, thank you, thank
of
you.
course.
See, when I start, what I wanted to say, or I should have said when I started this channel or started this Call HQ channel, was I wanted to bring positive models or positive information to the women
Mm-hmm.
and the men, but primarily the women, to help the women to see that you can respect men. You can have disagreements with men, but you still can be respectful. I challenge anyone to ever see me be disrespectful to a man, because I had the highest, utmost respect for men.
Mm-hmm.
Because I understand my place on this planet. I get my place on this planet. I don't care. Wow, I don't care whether I'm the weakest vessel or not. I just want to be a woman when it comes to being around men. That's it. And I want to be as feminine and cherished as possible, and not
Mm-hmm.
take advantage of a man. I'm not trying to do that at all. I just
Mm-hmm.
like my place on this planet, right? And if you like your place on this planet as a female, you will respect men, and men need to be respected in that way. They're the dominant people on this planet, dominant species on this planet. I just want to be a female on this planet. That's all.
Can I add to that too?
Yeah.
Like outside of my relationship, and I'm not saying I go out in the world flirting, but just
Mhm,
showing up in the world like feminine. Like every
mhm,
time I go out, I keep my hair done, I keep something nice
mhm,
on, and I'm
mhm,
polite to people, and
mhm.
I get all kind of free stuff. People are nice to me. Like women don't understand the power of
Right.
femininity and
Right.
submission. Like, and that doesn't make you a slave, but it's just like be a lady, damn, you know?
Right. Be a lady.
Hey,
That's it.
hey, Pinkfield, this is cute. Hey, actually, that's kind of interesting. That actually happens to men too. You imagine how much free stuff. You imagine how much free stuff I get just because I try to have a pleasant disposition. And
Mhm,
people give me
mhm,
stuff.
mhm.
It's,
Just imagine if you walked into store. I see this example all the time.
Yeah,
Men
I'll
are
give.
not, women are not friendly when you walk into a store or you want something. Just imagine how it would be if for a day the women who are the raging hyenas became very feminine and decided they were going to be nice to every person that they came across.
Yeah.
Look how the world would change. Look how much step and pep would be in men's demeanor if a woman he didn't even know
Amen. Amen.
would be nice and not hyena-ish. That's why when I go out, I'm respectful. Whenever I run into any kind of man, I run into him. I defer to him. I stand back when he's walking. He opens the door. I say, "Thank you, sir," regardless of his age, whether he's 14 or he's 50. I say, "Thank you, sir," and walk on by because he doesn't have to do those things. Would you like this or would you like that? I'm always greeted by that. The power of the female suggestion of femininity goes a long way out in this world, and women just don't. A lot of women don't understand that. A pleasant demeanor, a smile goes a long doggone way.
Now, HQ, I want to ask
Mm.
you this. Now, have you ever gotten free stuff for being nice?
Oh my
When I was younger, when I was prettier,
Okay, okay. Now, wait. So, but not as of lately. So, shoot, because I ain't never
well,
got
I,
no
I
free stuff.
really wouldn't accept it now.
I ain't never got no free stuff. I think it's a bit of colorism there because Brother Q and Pink Pill, they of the lighter persuasion,
I
and
am
we
a
dark,
black
and we
girl.
nah,
we
I think
darky.
that's the light.
HQ, we darky.
That's
We
the
don't.
light. That's the green cam. I'm not light skinned.
Me either. I just have good lighting when I come on. That's
Mm.
all.
She just
Us
has good
darkies, us darkies don't get free stuff.
Yeah, but we don't
But
get
it's
free
cute.
stuff.
But it's
Y'all
cute. I
hit
think
the
that's
like button
something.
when you come in. Please hit the like button when you
Yeah.
come in. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh no, it's not a matter of being. I don't think it's dark skin. I think it's.
I'm
I
bull
don't
jack.
know.
I'm just messing
It is.
around. I'm
It
messing
is.
around. But it's true. Like yeah, nice. If you're out nice in public, and it's a saying that people that look good just get better treatment, and it just is what it is.
I
Like
give a lot of
you
respect.
are more
I give
inclined.
respect though.
Yeah, it's weird. Like just on like a low level, shallow position, like people that look good, you're gonna give them more the time of day. It just is what it is. Like people don't want to acknowledge that superficial bull crap, but it is like you turn around and you see a pretty and attractive man or woman
Mhm.
compared to something busted and ugly. You don't mind insulting somebody that's ugly. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I ain't saying it's okay, but
Q, what did you say? What were you
Yeah,
saying?
so I wanted to say something about the submission talk that you guys were speaking on. And
Yes.
so I was thinking yesterday, um, do you guys think that submission is harder for women these days because they don't have to rely on men as much? For two reasons. One, for resources, and two, for protection that they don't know they actually need. So, because if you think about it, back in the day when we as human beings warred a lot, women needed men to constantly fight. So I think they can look towards them for protection,
Mhm.
and they can revere them and praise them and so forth. And since we don't have to fight like that as much, or they don't see it because we fight on distant shores the last 100 or so years, I don't think they respect men as much. And that's my humble opinion. And number two, the resource aspect. I think people, even if a woman got with a man who wasn't really that handsome, but she was around him enough to start to respect him for what he was providing for her, I think she could submit at that point. But I think we created a system where there are a majority. Well, I don't know. I don't know what percentage to give it, but there is a portion of women who have gained a sense of entitlement because the government has given them everything they needed. And so now they don't have to work with the man to provide for their survival needs. And so now the only thing they have left is to focus on media. And media has influenced them to look for only a certain type of man. And so they pour their efforts into getting that type of man, even till giving them sex to get their attention. Because if you have a pretty woman versus a not so pretty woman, and they both want to get his attention, the pretty woman going to get it anyway because she looks good. The other one, she said, well, I can't really keep him unless I give him myself, not knowing that we all know that sex is not the best way to keep him. It's not going to work. Now, if you get him, you need to give him sex once you get him, but that in and of itself is not going to keep him.
Right.
I know I rambled on a little bit, but my 2 points was resources and protection. Do women view men as respectful in those 2 realms anymore?
Pink pill?
HQ, and this is not a slight, but I think this whole issue goes back, like, not to your generation, but to maybe your mom's generation. That was the generation that was just so hell-bent on being independent. That's when the welfare government assistance started coming in or whatever. That's when women got real independent. And I think they just passed that ideology down to like my generation. I don't even know like where to start to unravel all of it. I really don't know. HQ. I'm gonna give it to you. I don't know.
See, I think when I'm different. You can't depend on me. I'm just old. I've always been an old soul. I've always been a old soul. When I this is what happened, and I can tell you this is how I am. When I went to school, went to college, and I got pregnant, right? I came home and told my mom, I'm not going back to school. I'm coming home to be a wife. My mother said, you better get your tail back to that college. You better get back there and graduate, So she forced me to go back to school. She forced me to go back to college. I went to college and I had 2 kids and my boyfriend in college going to school, right? So I had no intention of being an independent person, even though my mother was pushing me to be that way, right? But women aren't pushed to be in the role of being vulnerable to someone. She's pushed. I think that I don't need a man mantra has permeated every relationship from the 80s on down. I think it has damaged a lot of the psyche of the women. The men have taken it to the heart and said, she don't need me, so I don't need to stick around. Nobody is wondering how to make relationships work. So when she says, I don't need him, and she has money, she actually means that. But the real truth is she does need the man, right?
HQ,
Yes.
Can I say I'm seeing a shift though, because every time I log onto YouTube, I'm always seeing a video of a baby mama crying, saying how hard it is to keep up with the kids and keep up with the bills. Women are getting evicted. They can't pay their rent, can't pay their car note, they homeless. So whether we know it or not, the shift is coming. Like this is the transition
because
right
it's
here,
becoming
right?
more. The reality is really hitting the women. The reality is really hitting the women.
They got acquiesce.
You gotta come off that high horse. You gotta come down and say, look, how do I make this relationship work with men? How do I make it so that my disposition or my thought pattern of not needing a man is shifted to the back, and I pull out some of the things that I need, or I need to list respectfully to be with a man? What do I need to do? I think the reality is hitting the women that, damn, the kids ain't enough. Damn, they ain't enough. I'm sitting here alone and I'm 29 years old and I got 2 kids, but I can't get a man.
HQ, and well, actually everybody, even Mr. Walker. Do you guys ever? I don't ever remember being a young kid in the 80s and in the 80s, primarily 80s,
right,
and early 90s. I've never heard a woman at a young age say they don't need a man. Like,
no.
in late teens and maybe the first part of the early 20s if they haven't been with a man and got dumped or hurt by a man.
Am-
I've never heard women
Baked
that
in the
age
cake.
say you don't need a man.
No, you know what? Like I said, I grew up around hyenas, but even they knew they needed a man. They kept a man. Like the 4 for 4s and 5 for 5s back in the day, they knew how to cook Sunday dinner, and they kept a man. They kept a step simping step daddy around.
See, they want a man around, but if you ask them directly, they're gonna say, I don't need a man. I want a man. I don't need you." They'll say it, but they'll say it, and I believe they're beginning to understand that people who said that before kind of messed the whole generation up. And I think it's baked into the cake. I think the fact that they act like that or they feel like they don't need a man is kind of baked into the cake. I don't need a man. I can work. I can take care of myself. Da 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 da. But
Yeah.
the whole point is you want a man and you need a man.
See,
To
So
answer,
it's
it's
baked in the cake to me.
here's the thing, and I said this one show. Uh a man is more than just his money, just a man's presence alone. Like, seriously, women, with all due respect, but women literally turn their brain off when they're around responsible men. I see it. Like, you
Yes.
out in public and
Yes.
they just be so happy just looking around, doing their thing, and they don't be worried about the daggone thing.
Mhm.
It's a task because you gotta, it's like hurting cats, but it's a beautiful thing to see. But these women never seen that. So any woman that says, "Oh, I don't need a man," they've never experienced that leadership of a man where you go out and your only job is to enjoy yourself because
yeah,
he's doing everything. He's doing his manly duties. You don't have to
Mhm.
worry about nothing. So, and they say don't, because they never experienced that,
Right.
and
yeah.
they don't want to admit that.
I was gonna say from elementary school, I always liked boys. Not saying I was a fast kid, but like I've
Mhm.
always
Mhm.
like dreamed of being. No, but like I would always write in my notebook like Mrs. This or that. Like Valentine's Day come, boys are bringing me like baskets for like Valentine's Day and stuff. Even in like middle school and high school, like guys would come and pick me up and bring me on dates, like white boys too. But like ever since I was a little girl, I can remember I liked the idea of having a boyfriend. I don't know where it got lost in translation.
Right.
I wanted to add
I
that.
don't know anything. I don't know anything other than having men around. There's a difference between never having a man around, no man in the house, no man that's permanently there, no man to depend on. There's a very big difference from every day coming in the door. My father would come in the door at 7:30 every morning for years. I would see him come in the door every morning, 7:30, because he worked the midnight shift. I don't know why he liked to work the midnight shift, but he would work the midnight shift, and then my mom would work the day shift or afternoon shift. There was
Mhm.
never a day. I don't even. I've never went a day not knowing of a man, a father in the house, because I've never known that. Because my
I've
father died
never
when I was like 50. My father died like when I was 50 a couple years ago. Yeah.
I
I've never known that. And then my mother died maybe a year later. So I don't know that dynamic, but I get it. When you're born that way, raised that way, you're not even thinking of a man being in the house. You're not even thinking you it's built into the fact that you don't even rely on a man. It's built into you. So they don't have to say I don't need a man. Just the fact that she does everything independently
Well,
HQ to
is that.
HQ to bounce off what you said. First of all, I'm
Mhm.
sorry for your loss. Number two,
Thank you.
I never met my biological father. I don't know what he looks like if I had a picture of him. Q and Mr. Walker could be my dad for all I know.
oh
Um
no, I mean, Mr. Walker, baby, he played football.
Whoa,
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
hold it up. See, guy, I ain't that there. Go up 37, guys.
Wait.
Y'all hit the like
But
button
no.
coming in the door. Hit the like button, please.
And then like my mom was just always in the most abusive relationships like ever. And I always saw her fighting, like she always had to fight every man she ever had. One of them was like a child like predator, you know, like she always had terrible men in her life and around us. So I think that kind of conditioned me and my sisters to like hate men too. I want to say that too. A lot of the women that had kids, they're just not responsible in picking a mate, you know. It's just and it trickles down because I don't know, it's just depressing as hell.
Well, so here's my question, because I don't like people using hyperboles when they speak about not needing a man. I think women should separate when they physically versus emotionally. So if for your physical needs, if you don't need a man, you need to say, I don't need a man physically, but I do need a man emotionally, if that's what they really want. Because yes, we have some women who have money and who can provide for their temporal needs. But from a man's perspective, when I hear a woman don't need me, I encompass it all. I don't, you know, so I think it is the whole thing. So women will be better served to say, hey, I don't need a man to take care of me monetarily, but I do need it for everything else emotionally.
I think they started to say that. I think they started to say that.
But
you know,
let me opine on that. But and be able to articulate that so that the man can understand, because you don't want to minimize him. And I think the worst thing we did, we changed too fast as human beings. 50 years is not that much time. I'll tell you that right now. And so it appeared, even with women with money, when we watched the Kendra show and we watched Gavin, Mr. Walker, analyze the women who go up on their show. The funny thing about it is that yes, they can make money if we take their word for it, right? Air quotes. But they also still want man to provide that money, because that's the only way they see man is providing money. And so, and that puts them in a bad mind frame, because not they only see men as money still. They still don't address the emotional part of it enough. If you have money, why are you worried about him having money? Now, I will say that if you're young and you want to have kids, yeah, you got to take that into consideration, because we all know that you can get pregnant and the kid can come out any kind of way that requires the wife to maybe stay home. So I mean, and that's just life happens that way for some people. But if you only need man for the emotional part, you need to understand how to articulate to that man so he will be okay with it. But I'm telling you right now, as a man, if you tell me I don't need a man, I'm going to encompass in everything. You don't need me financially, you don't need me emotionally, so I'm not going to approach you.
Right. See, I think it's a matter of maybe we need to pull back on leading with the money first, or leading with the provision first, and saying maybe it's a communication gap between us and men. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's not that I want all of your money. Maybe that women see money as, well, have we ever thought that maybe women see money as care? As
I agree with you. Some should. Like I said, you have to analyze your current situation. Some women will, just like some men, will not have the acumen to gain enough money to provide for themselves and or others. That's just the way it is. Not everybody can make money like that. Most people don't have the mind like that. And if you're a woman who understands that and says, hey, I understand that I will be in a position to where I will need a man to make it through life. And that's okay. As the weaker sex, with air quotes, that's okay. But then you need to proceed with life understanding that you need to pick from the men who are willing to accept you for who you are. Is there anything wrong with saying to women, is there anything wrong with men or women saying, I just want him to make what I make?
No,
yes. We're in that statement. Is that wrong?
But because the man is going to pick you based off of what he sees that you can provide to him. So so when you focus on the money from the woman's perspective, because you coming in not wanting to provide for him, I'm assuming, correct? You hear that question?
I'm assuming that I'm assuming 50-50, but we can go with what you said.
Okay, so if the woman's coming in with the assumption that she has a certain amount of money, and then that man needs to make that certain amount of money, otherwise it's not going to work. And let's say it's got to be, let's say it's more than the national average, the national median income. Okay. Then she still has to realize that she has to be what he wants as well. And if she does that, and she only limits herself to the men where she's at economically, that's going to reduce the pool substantially for her. Right. And then now she can only get men in that group if she wants for a relationship. Women can almost get a man. Believe me, I've seen a ton of stuff in college. And some of the dudes on the team, some of the women they slept with, it was amazing. They'll never be seen with them at the games or after the games, but I saw them sneaking out the window.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying, Q? And see, I be trying to give these brothers that perspective from being an athlete, because we all live in our own head, and we ain't aware of our anecdotal existence. And I'm just like, I've seen this stuff. I have seen, some of my teammates literally go and take girls out of dudes' hands, just like, come here. Like, and then that's why, what's the brother Boyce? I respect Dr. Boyce for his academic contribution, right, and his intelligence. You can't knock that. But he should have never in his mother-loving life stepped over into relationships, because that was Dr. Boyce. Dr. Boyce was getting his girlfriend took, and he was sitting there disgruntled on suicide watch.
No way. No way. Moist Watkins? Who is Moist Watkins? Oh, y'all wrong for that.
I said Boyce. I don't call that man Moist. I call him Boyce.
Wait a minute. He got his woman took? Oh.
Well, that's his wife. See what I'm saying? That's why we call him simps. Because you argue that because he lived that existence. He liked the girl in college, but she went and gave her womb to the football players. And then when she was done, she came to the boy and said, "Hey, remember you like me?" He's like, "Yeah, I like you." He said, "All right, you can come. You can have it now."
Can I say something?
Yeah,
I think most of the times when women get on here and say, "Oh, I need a man making this amount, I need a man making that amount," it's because first of all, they don't know how to pick the correct men, and they've dated too many pookies and nugs, and they're so used to men coming with their hand out, not realizing that majority of men, in my opinion, aren't like that. And I know from experience, because admittedly I dated a nug before, and it wasn't fun. But he always needed something, and I said hell no, of course. And the last straw was when he asked me to like rent a car for him in my name. I'm like, what the fuck? But
y'all gonna stop denigrating. Usually the nugs and them are very young, and you usually get with those nugs and pookies at the beginning and early in the relationships. But the nugs sometimes can be reformed. They can be reformed. They just down on their luck somewhere. And I get
ain't nobody got time for that. HQ. And you said nug can be reformed. Can a modern woman be reformed too?
Yeah, I'm assuming so. I'm assuming if you did what you did in your 20s, and then you decided
Mr. Walker, stop. Don't be a hater. Don't be a hater.
I'll explain. I'll substantiate my.
Wait a minute, but here's the thing. If I was a certain way in my teens, and I ran around and did all the reckless things in my teens, I'm not a redeemable person when I hit my 30s if I didn't do any of those things again.
I think you are. For example, I used to be a hyena, admittedly, until I found Kevin Samuels' content. But like hyena culture is all I knew. Like I've never seen anybody be in a healthy relationship in my life. All I knew was like it was like the streets and social media raised me, and it wasn't to anybody's fault of my own, but I took responsibility and adjusted and made the changes to get the outcome that I wanted. And I'm the only one out of all my mom's kids who has like moved away or like finished college or hasn't had kids out of wedlock, things like that. I'm doing pretty well for myself. So I think the answer is yes.
Well,
So
here,
my
okay.
whole thing is this: it doesn't matter about to me, it's different. You and Mr. Walker are testaments to the fact that you were born into a certain type of family, but you rose and persevered and got out of that environment. So it's possible. See, I don't look at people and say, "Oh, well, you came from a single mama, and this is why you do that." No, you can rise above.
But
Okay,
HQ, let
no,
me hear Mr. Walker. Go ahead, because I know he got something.
no, I don't. I agree with you, Pink
You
Pill.
can rise
It's
above.
it, it's the thing. Here's you just as a woman, you just can't give your body to the streets. So yeah, you can like, all right, I'm born in this environment, so I have this mentality that by default. Yes, I respect that. However, you can then go and become an active 304, giving your body up because then you have a conflict because men value exclusivity to a woman's body. So if that's gone, then that's tough to regain. So as long as physically the woman isn't out in the streets, then yeah, and also that willingness to reject that lifestyle. I was proud about that. Like I respected the thug life, the street life. I always did, and that's a big if though. So, but yeah, I agree, Pink Pill.
See, I never
Okay.
jumped out there into the porch. I went straight from being, home with my parents to going to college. But I was in a relationship, I had those two children, and then I got into another relationship a year later with my husband. So I never hit the streets at all. I was never a street person. So, but I still faltered in the beginning. Faltered in the beginning. I'm saying if you falter in the beginning, can we change the trajectory of our life, even if we fail in the beginning? I think that's possible because everybody has a past.
To what extent? To what extent? Like, because
Right? To what
okay,
extent?
now on the man's side, it's gonna be extreme. But my brother Gav, he likes saying, if you turn into a cannibal, you really can't be released back into society. So if you were out here and you, like I said, you were in these streets like the Braca or like an active corn star,
Right.
there is no real coming back because you're gonna carry that with you. It
All
these
right. All right.
these
I just want to
Moreover,
clarify that wasn't me. I wasn't on that level, but
and that's
I wasn't nice though,
and it shows. That's the thing. It'll always show people. I never question that because how you carry yourself. It will always show. If you did carry yourself like that, you wouldn't have this perspective because you wouldn't be able to. Like the proof is always going to be in the pudding. So that's why I'm like, no. If a woman lives active, rugged, rough lifestyle, no, and she'll never be able to think like a pink pill. So that's why I say no.
and moreover, and make sure we understand, we're not talking about they can't change. I'm not talking about they can't change to become a better person. My point is, I don't think they can change to be in stable relationships. Like a porn star or corn star, I don't know what we're allowed to say. Like the corn star, I'm assuming that deep within them, they're going to always have the appetite to do those things, and so it's going to be a constant struggle for them to not do it. And so, do you take that constant struggle with you into a relationship where you constantly how's that any different than those who are alcoholics? That's a fight for the rest of their life. They will never not be an alcoholic, so they can never.
So therefore, you need to stay over there where the people do that kind of stuff, and y'all need to figure out what y'all gonna do if you're a part of that crowd. I mean, because there's certain people that are part of that crowd, have them fast lives. Not to mention P. Diddy, but those people have that lifestyle. They're used to paying. I can pay for whatever I want to get. I can do whatever I want. The police ain't gonna come. I can do this, that, and the third. There's certain people who gravitate towards that lifestyle. Most normal people don't gravitate towards that. Most people are repulsed by those kind of lifestyle. A corn star, ain't no way that I would be comfortable dealing with a man who did corn star activity, right?
Huh.
I wouldn't be. So therefore, I would never go into a room where they are. So I'm saying the people who have not made it, who went sliding down that path, those people need to stay with those people. But the regular, normal, everyday person that may have faltered once or twice, I think they're redeemable. Those people are redeemable, men and women. They are.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that I'm a devout Christian. I believe people can be redeemed, but I'm talking about in the context of relationships. Just because they can be the pedos. Yeah, maybe they can be right with God, but they can never be around kids ever.
Well, yeah. There's some people that
I don't care how clean they ever got their lives. They can never be put in a place to be tempted again. Ever.
Right. I mean, there's some people that are just not that are not redeemable in that particular way, unless you're just a saint. I get it. Most people I give a little grace to. I give a little grace to most normal people. If you're extreme, it would take more for that. It would just take more for me to give you that kind of grace.
It would take me nothing. You get no grace from me. As a person who's experienced that, like it haunts you for like all of your life. You never recover from something like that. So no.
You're not talking from experience, are you?
I am.
She said,
it never leaves you ever.
Oh, okay.
I wake up every day like it like runs my mind. It's crazy.
You said grace? What, giving grace? Well, I'm sorry, I missed it.
No,
Mr. Walker.
She said she was a part of that lifestyle, right?
No. She said something happened to her. She said something happened.
Okay.
No, I'm trying to say what was it like? What haunts your mind? I missed it.
Being great.
Being great.
So was I, but I didn't.
HQ.
So was I. So was I.
I'm missing it.
All right, I salted the conversation, but anyway, like you were saying, HQ.
Great. So was I, right? So I mean, but so was I. So I mean, it stays with you, and you have to deal with that, and and people are scarred by that. But I'm saying we can get all past that. We can get past
that happens a lot more than you think in the Black community too. That's probably another reason why like a lot of young girls act out too. And if it's not physical abuse, it's like mental and emotional abuse.
Oh, goodness gracious. I couldn't hear what the hell you guys were saying. Even with young boys too. I think listen here, if you grow up, it's crazy, in a single mom, I hate to sound so, I don't know, like just journal how these red pill talkers be, but I gotta say it though. I gotta say, if you grew up in a single parent household, you were exposed to hypersexuality. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I lost my virginity when I was 9 years old to, some teenage girl. Yeah, and this is normal. When I got to college, me and all of our teammates, we shared similar stories about how we lost our virginity. And as a young boy, we could never really, as young men, we could never really empathize with you young women because we don't process it the same, pink pill. We don't. I look back on that, and I was young, didn't know what to do, didn't know my, what I'm saying, didn't know nothing, you know what I'm saying? And she was doing everything. I was trying to play like I was asleep. Like, this is a real thing. But I think about it, and it's not traumatic. It don't make me feel less than. However, looking back as a father, as a husband, I could see how it did make me hypersexual. But and here's another flip side. Growing up in the hood, ain't nothing wrong with being hypersexual. Yes, it's a good thing to be hypersexual. It's sick, But I do like.
Hey, check this out, Mr. Walker. So I wasn't as young as you, but let me tell you this: what almost happened to me. So I was 13 years old in Benton Harbor, Michigan, man. And there was this girl, and my buddy Wesley. Me and him were hanging out, and there was these two sisters, and we were calling ourselves liking them, right? And we almost messed around. Something had happened, so we didn't go through with it. Tell me how I hooked up with her on Facebook. Sometimes, you know how you find people on Facebook? And then I looked at her age. I was 13. I was 13 years old. And when I looked at her age, I was like, this girl was 6 years older than me.
Oh my God.
You know, and it's good, you know, and I'm looking in my mind, I'm thinking, because she, you know, we look young, you know, I mean, girls 16 to like 25, if they keep themselves in shape, you can't even tell the difference with half of them.
That's true. Hey.
She was 19 years old because I was looking at her Facebook birthday thing. I was like, this freaking girl is 6 years older than me. She was trying to get me to have sex with her. I was like,
yeah,
insane.
Things like this are so common in the Black community, and I think the Black community just has so much unhealed trauma. Things are just so like unpacked. A lot of like young girls and young boys too are just like acting out at the same time. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the experiences that maybe men have these experiences earlier than women. I was like 19, right? 19. He was 29, right? And it wasn't a violent thing, but it was the act of that being violent is violent, right? If I can't say no, right? If I can't say no, then it's a problem. I mean, then we have a problem, right? So if I can't say no, I don't feel like I can say no, or I can't move, or I can't do any of those things, then it's a grape. You see what I'm saying? It wasn't a matter of snatching or grabbing or anything like that. It was a slow process of you can't move, so it's gonna happen, but you can't move. So I'm going to do it because you can't move. You understand what I'm saying? I couldn't. There was no fighting. It was just either it was gonna happen or it just was gonna happen. So if you let it happen, is that grape if you let it happen because you know you can't do anything?
Yeah, still great. Still great.
Yeah, heck yeah. Unwanted sexual attention. Yeah.
Right. So it was a person that I was dating, and this happened, and I was like, no, and I just remember saying no many times, but it happened anyway.
And we were so strict about that, HQ. Like, even though we grew up in that hyper sexualized environment, like the culture that I helped foster when I was, in school, if a woman, we party like rock stars, but if a woman said no, it's over. And the whole drunk thing, like we as being, project babies, I take pride in saying we had a high moral code. Like that was a no-brainer. We did not play that. And I think because we all saw our sisters back in school or our moms going through situations, and I love it. It was trauma, but we turned it into a beautiful thing because we learned what to do by watching what not to do. But yeah, stuff like that, like we don't play that forcing yourself onto a woman thing. That's
nine is a whole different thing. According to Fridley, that is a different level.
That's why I tell everybody. I always tell people because we like I said, we always hear for decades how bad men are and how bad Black men are, how men in general are bad. And I always tell people, look at your freaking birth certificate. Let me tell you guys, I always knew how old my dad was and how old my mom was, but I never really thought about it. So I was like about 42, 43 years old. I actually looked at my birth certificate. And I was like, hold up. Wait a minute. This ain't right. I was like, I started doing the math. I was like, hey, how did somebody not go to jail? You know what I mean?
I don't think that was a priority back then. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think.
But here's the problem though, and I'll share this right quick with you guys. I was like, hey pops. I was like, why did she go to jail? And he was like, hey, check this out. I was in court and they were trying to get me for child support. And then the judge said, hey, this guy's only 15. We can't get child support out of a 15-year-old.
Oh my God.
Right.
And that was, check this out. And I'm not the oldest. I'm not the oldest.
Wow.
And they told that to him when my other brother, who's long past, I shared with that you guys sometime back.
Right. Mm.
I wasn't even the oldest.
Mm.
So he was, I was like 15, and they were trying to get child support after 15, and the judge had to look at it and say, "Oh, we can't get chip 15. We can't get child support out of 15-year-old."
Oh wow! Now that is why. That is
the
why.
point of me bringing that up is because I think it's so easy to point the finger at like modern women and the way that they act, but I
Right.
don't I don't think anybody ever takes into consideration like all of the trouble that a lot of like people have similar stories like how all of us have. Like everybody isn't strong enough to rise above the BS.
Right.
So is there no room for sympathy, not even just a little bit, or what?
I mean, I give grace. I give grace. I always say there's bad on this end, good on this end, and then we all hit the middle. So I try to give grace to all the people, even the nugs. Sometimes I give them grace too, and I give the 3 or 4. I give them grace too, because who knows where they came from. Where they came from, have they had some kind of situational awareness, some emotional stability? Have they come to the realization that they're living the wrong life and decided they're going to live the right life and do the right thing? Or are they still on that same garbage that they always have been? When we look at the people on Kendra G, a lot of them are still on the same garbage and have not gotten off that garbage track, right? Some of them are on a good track. They're not saying that they can't be. Get on the good track. But Stephen James, be quiet. But I'm saying
he's walling in the chat.
Some of them can be turned around. I get it. But it's a lot of them that still want to be on that drama, the fighting, the cussing out, the not wearing condoms. That's a big one. Not being responsible sexually. A lot of us and most of us are responsible sexually. Most of us are. We you know how to get away from somebody when they got a sexually transmitted disease. Why you can't get away from them if they don't want to wear a condom?
Yeah, that kept me in line. That watching those old videos in health class showing the guy's sack and had all those lesions and stuff on. That was enough to keep me in line. Those old health classes, man, they should scare a brother. But let me share this with you guys, and this is a moment of vulnerability. So, and you guys are talking about controlling yourself and stuff. And so so when I got divorced, the first 2 years when I got divorced, that was the hardest time. The only thing that truly kept me in line was my devotion to the gospel. But let me tell you, you guys remember in I don't know if it was CB4 or if it was New Jack City when Pookie was coming off the crack.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, women coming at you when you had 16 years of a marriage, used to having intimacy, and then women approach you trying to give it to you, you trying to fight. It was that's the only way I can explain how I was feeling, trying to stay away from it. And I did. I made it through, and it took me about 2 years, and now finally calm, and now I'm a little more. I'm still now because I don't touch myself, and I don't consume porn on any level. But let me tell you, those first 2 years were hard because my body was accustomed. That's my point is, my body was accustomed to being intimate for 16 years of marriage.
Right.
And so if you think about people who are just having sex,
right,
it's a legal drug. Right. And we don't see it that way. We don't see it that way, and people can be hooked. Right. And it's hard for them to come off one. They don't even know they're hooked. And that's why they would sleep with anybody. And especially if no one tells them that it's detrimental to their future, possibly, especially for either one having a kid.
You tell that to Black America who say it's like pudding, or I can't remember what he said.
Banana pudding.
Is it banana pudding? He said or custard or something. He said it's just like custard.
Yeah, but I'm telling you guys, and I understand people. I don't think I would have ever understood that aspect of, because I never did drugs or anything like that, and I've probably drank my whole life. Maybe I can count on one hand how many times I had alcohol. But if I can imagine, I'm telling you, if I had not seen CB4, or I like to say I don't remember which one it was, but if
I think it was Jack City. It was New Jack.
Do you remember he was
Was it New Jack City?
Maybe it was in both of them. Now that I think about
Oh,
it.
okay. Okay.
He was
It
fighting.
was New Jack
He
City.
had the cigarette light in his hand. He was like, I want to smoke it. And then I'm telling you, I did Uber. Let me tell you guys this, and I'm gonna shut up. I did Uber for like 5 months when I first got divorced to get some money real quick for court and stuff. And there was this woman who got in the Uber, and was trying to give it to me. You know what I mean? And I stopped doing Uber because I knew I wasn't strong enough yet. I stopped doing Uber. I was like, nah, I ain't do this because I'm gonna get that wrong one who's good looking, and I won't be strong enough to say no. So I stopped doing Uber.
So would you consider yourself one of the people that has a high libido? Or
man, I'm telling you, there will be accused half of America if I was unrighteous.
You said what?
There'll be Q's nuggets or whatever you call them.
Oh my God.
No, but I understand. But I understand. I have a high libido, and like I said, I it's just what it is. But I learned how to control myself. I knew I couldn't be watching any of the corn, and I knew I couldn't be touching myself. And so I'm telling you guys, those 2 years were difficult. I made it through, but it was like sweats and stuff, and I was exercising. I was diesel. Let me tell you, Mr. Walker, I was diesel. I was in the gym, so I was diesel.
Bless you, brother. Bless you, man. I listen. I know my limitations. No, sir. Yeah, call it damage. Ain't no way.
That's the female or wifely talk that I want to have with women this Sunday. Rejecting sex in a marriage is not an option. Rejecting sex in a marriage is not an option. That's going to be the talk that I have on Sunday. For I've heard that from a lot of men who say women just stop having sex. When you have a high libido, that's not an option, right? If both of you guys have low libidos, then sex drive, that's a different story. But if you don't have a low sex drive, and you have high sex, or both of y'all have high sex, no, you have a low one and she has a high one, it's going to be a problem. Yeah. It's always a problem when it's a dynamic where it's uneven, right? And I'm one of those people. I know that I'm one of the people with a high libido. I can't deal with a man with a low libido. I could never do that. But there's some men out there. And there's some women out there, and you need to know that before you marry somebody. That's just my little advertisement for next week. Now, advertisement for Sunday: low libidos and high libidos, and knowing which one you can live with and which one you can't. Right. So it's interesting to hear that. Well, Q, ain't you just all out there this time? Ain't you just all out there? I never thought I'd hear you talk like that.
I'm not using any vulgarity. I'm not using any vulgarity or anything. I'm just saying that.
That's true. Banana pudding, Black America.
I'm just saying high libido is a real, and people don't create a high libido. People don't create a high libido. You can create it.
No, you don't create it. It's you just born with it. It's just a part of you.
You just gotta I'm telling you guys, I'm so grateful that I found the gospel at 22. Otherwise, I don't even know what life would have been, because. I'm telling you, when you're an athlete, I'm telling you, and I'm only 5'9". I can tell you, the tall guys on the basketball team, let me tell you, I remember one year I hurt my knee, and I was sitting on the bench, and I heard these girls on the back of us. It was my boy, I'm going to say his name because he's married. Just because he come across, I'm going to say his name. This is a tall dude on the team. And I heard a girl behind me. She's like, oh, he wasn't even his girlfriend. Because I know his girl. She goes, oh, he's getting some tonight. I think he dunked on somebody. And she goes, he's getting some tonight.
Oh my God.
From the stand. I'm telling you guys, it is wild. It is wild. And I can only imagine, and this was only a small college. So can you imagine the people in the NBA and the NFL, how the women just be this throwing it at them all the time? And they have to.
Yeah, but there's other things that you had too. You 5'9". 5'9" is not that. 5'9" is not short.
No, but in
5'9"
basketball,
is
no, but what I'm saying is in the world of basketball, it is because women seeing the men who are around you.
Right.
And I'm short compared to the 6'5", 6'8" guys, and that's what like I said, I had no problems, but I'm just saying that girls were wild because they were in such a rarity. If you say tall guys walking on the campus back then, you pretty much knew who they were because they was on the team. And so it's a I want to say scarcity, but I don't want to use it in this context. But those tall men were in with low supply,
right,
and so they stood out,
right,
and they had cachet on campus because they were on a team, and
yeah, they definitely do have
those
an
were in the
advantage.
domes all the time.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do. I mean, that has always been that way from the test of time because it presents itself as somebody who is able to take care of or protect. It's more of a protective thing. When you're tall, women look at you like a protector, like you can take care of things, you can handle things because you're bigger than most men, but not necessarily make the best partners in relationships because you understand that your height is somewhat of an advantage. Women love the taller men, but I would rather a man be taller than me or close to my height. I'm 5'9" ish, right? So if he's the same height as me or a little bit taller, I don't mind that. Or he's a little bit shorter than me. As long as we're eye to eye, I'm good. I don't care, right? But some women, he's got to be 6 feet. He's got to be this, that, and the other, right? And then that's where they fall short. This is where you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be just stuck on that one particular thing because the shorter man could probably give you all that you wanted and more, right?
When I was single,
right.
my requirements for a guy, and I'm 26, so I'm not looking for a millionaire. I'm just looking for somebody who has ambition, who doesn't live with their mom, got their own place, and who has something going on. You could be whatever height, you not be dead broke now, but and I think that's why a lot of these women are single because y'all in these lists is just too much. Like you're not gonna find the perfect man. Everybody's gonna have something going on. And what you need to realize is men have to deal with you and your BS too. It's a lot of things about you that they don't like, and they just deal with it because they love you. So you talking yourself out of a man by being so superficial and uppity,
Right.
and you all of a 4 out of 10.
She right. Apollonia misbehave for $1.99. Healing hugs to all. I love these combos. Thank you very much, Apollonia. Everybody hit the like button when they come in or on the way out, however you want to do it. Super chat, cash apps, all that good stuff. Thank you very much. No, I brought this topic up because I was talking on a panel the other day, and they were saying, so they were mixing submission in the bedroom with submission outside the bedroom. It's two totally different things. You ever had a girlfriend who she submitted in the bedroom and then she was a raging hyena outside the bedroom? That's somebody who hasn't submitted. And there's a lot of women who don't know how to do that. But here's the thing. If you're a trustworthy person, you bring safety to the relationship, eventually she's going to submit. Eventually she's going to have to look at it and say, he's doing everything that needs to be done. He may not bring in all of the money. He may not be 6'10", but he's doing all the things that I require him to do. I have always said, if you have 10 things on your list and he does 7 of them, you need to be running towards that person. If he ain't 6 feet, forget about that. If he don't make $100,000, forget about that too. But you're being respectful. He's being respectful. What about having feelings for somebody? Why not prioritize how this person behaves in your presence? Mr. Walker said, hey, you need to get someone who likes you too. Are you going to return the favor if I like you, but I'm really not your cup of tea, but I like you? Are you going to return that? You're going to be reciprocal in these feelings for me, if I turn to you and give you all the things that you want, that's the big question, right? Because men want what they want.
True,
Right.
You
true.
know,
Mm.
But
this
here's the problem. Here's the problem with that though, is that um, her only real bargaining chip is her virtue, and so if she trades on that, and then she ultimately finds out that that's all he wanted, whose
Mhm.
fault is that really? We can look at it from both sides, but
Mhm.
the only real leverage she has, and this is the lame portion of this segment for Pew. Only real true leverage she has is saying, "Hey, you need to 100% commit to me, and be a marriage, and then you can have me." That's the only thing she can really do. Because a man will stop and think, so, whoa, I got to marry her. Let me think this through. You know what I mean? Most men don't willy-nilly marry women just to have sex.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but if he knows she likes him, and she gives herself to him, I mean, is he truly at fault for taking it? And I don't know how to really answer that question, because they both getting something out of that deal. She's not
Mhm.
maybe not getting 100% what she wants, and she needs to articulate it. If she doesn't articulate it up front, hey, I'm giving you me. That means that you and I are committed, and we're going to go this thing out. Are you willing to agree with that? And if she doesn't ask that question, then she's just rolling the dice on that he likes her enough that he wants to keep it going.
Let's
exactly.
not
I
act
want to ask
like
this
looks
question.
are important. I'm
Oh, okay.
sorry,
Go
go
ahead
ahead.
on Pink Pill.
I was
Say it
gonna
again.
say, let's not act like looks are not important, because I've been in a relationship before with a guy who I wasn't really attracted to physically, and I
Mhm.
tried to like him because he was a good guy.
Mhm.
But it's just like when we would be intimate, I'd have to look at the wall because I just
Oh
couldn't.
no, you wrong for
Exactly.
that, Pink
You know
Pill.
what
You
I'm
wrong for
saying?
that. You wrong.
Yeah.
I told him eventually. I tried to like him because he was nice, you
And
know.
so that's what I'm saying. I'm saying when men say they will go down in looks to get cooperation, are you for real? Y'all really? It
Well,
may not be what you want. Really?
yeah,
You
but
would?
I think you're overthinking it. When they say go down in looks, they don't mean to go from I want a 9, so give me a 2. That's not what they mean.
Yeah.
They mean like, okay, I would love to have a 9, but I'll take a 6 because she's good enough looking and I can work with her. It doesn't mean they can go all the way down to a 2. That's not gonna work. No way
Okay.
at all. You
Okay.
still gotta have some allure to them. Otherwise, it's
Oh,
never
okay.
gonna work.
And you
Okay.
know what? Off of what Q was saying, there's a communication gap.
Mhm.
So I know with me and my wife, or whatever it's worth, we really communicated. Like, she expressed how much she was into me, and vice versa, and we moved forward with that understanding. Like you said, Q, these couples now, they don't they don't talk. Like, we sat there and, like, we sat there, talked and vetted one another, seeing what our future aspirations were, all that good stuff. And but I agree that the physical attraction has to be there, because there's gonna be days y'all don't like one another.
Right.
And it's much easier to make up with somebody that you think look good. Like,
Right.
shoot, you want to get back in their good graces. I'm trying to,
It comes back to what you said. You said good looks take you further than ugly looks. Good looks is going to take an attraction is going to take you further than not having an attraction. It
yeah.
will in a relationship.
I respect that. I respect women's hypergamy. I respect the fact that they like what they like. Because if you fight their nature, you gonna lose. You can't fight it.
I would be
Mhm.
insulted. I would be insulted if a man came to me and said, "Oh well, HQ, in his mind, oh I wanted a 9, but I'll settle for you." That I would
Now
be
That's the
insulted.
same
But
thing
you
I
know,
told you. That's
I
the,
would
that's the
never
same
say
thing I
that.
told you.
Right. I'm sorry.
That's the same thing I told you almost a year ago. I was we were talking about a man can't hear a woman say I want a 6 feet 5 guy, but and then I ended up with you. That's no different than that.
Yeah, but the context. See, look at the context. You can't. The context is she's really saying not 6 feet. She's really saying taller. Okay. If you
Yeah,
look
but
at it that way, is it better if she says taller as opposed to 6 foot?
no, let me tell you this. I might be in a small minority. if a woman tells me she wants somebody 6 foot or taller, and then I end up with her, I am never gonna take her serious.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Listen to this. Even if we as women take a man who's 5'9", 5'10", and we initially want it, because a lot of women say they want 6 foot, and we initially say that's what they want, but they get into a relationship with you, they don't keep revisiting that 6 foot dude. Men keep revisiting, she looks better than you do, or she was better, or I dated somebody better looking than you do.
No,
Women keep,
never.
oh heck yeah,
No.
I
women
disagree,
do.
HQ. No.
No.
Yes,
No.
I would feel vulnerable if I knew my boyfriend dealt with all these beautiful women, and then he came over and looked
Now,
at me.
here we go. 1 second. Here's my argument. So okay, let's say guy did deal with a more physically attractive woman. Why the hell ain't he still with her? There is a reason why, and most likely it is like a femininity. Femininity will trump looks. That's why we say respectfully go down the physical appearance for femininity and cooperation. You can look good. Shit, somebody got tired of Halle Berry. At one point, she was a universal sex symbol.
Right.
And no, zero femininity. She probably
Yeah.
batshit crazy. And so yeah, femininity is for the win.
Okay, so you say that don't happen. That's not how that works. Okay.
No, ma'am.
Look
Okay.
at Travis Hunter and his girl.
Travis Hunter. Oh, okay.
Oh God.
I already forgot his ex-girlfriend, how she looks already.
I'd give her a 6 or a 5.
I forgot how she looks. I
She
don't
all
remember
right.
anymore.
I mean, from what I've seen of her, and he's not a bad looking guy. He has a beautiful smile and beautiful complexion and beautiful skin. I don't look at him.
He doesn't know it though, because he's not like stereotypically handsome. So he's been bullied all his life for looking the way he looks.
Ain't nobody want to hear about you. Got to talk about no guy. You got to take that offline. Like,
Oh, okay.
What? Okay, never mind.
But that's not what we said. But I'm saying with the topic that I introduced, I wanted to introduce this topic because we had that conversation, or I was listening to that conversation, and I was like, we have to figure out how we can get women to be more feminine, more in tune with the relationship, as opposed to checking out and looking at a man and saying, hey, I have to look at his money first. We need to look at personalities first. We need to look at history first. We need to look at how this person moves as a human being first. Money is not, I can always get money. If you know you can always get money, you should never worry about a man and his money. If you know how to get money, and him the same way, you should never worry about how money goes as long as you know how to make it. So that should never be on the table. And I get it. Men have a certain dynamic where they're going to look at women and they're going to be attracted to this woman. The femininity is the key, ladies and gentlemen. The femininity is the key.
well, but HQ, let me ask you this then. So how is this going to? So if women, you remember when Mr. Walker can correct me if I'm wrong. You remember that one time when Luna was telling women to wait to what age was that, Mr. Walker? 30 something, 30. I don't remember what it was. 30 something.
No.
Right.
Yeah. So don't you think that would put women in a more desperate position if they wait to 30 something to start looking for a husband?
You're like 35.
The ones that don't have kids.
Yeah, but here's the thing: with the it would put them in a more vulnerable position. But our problem is we want men that are similar in age, and the men similar in age want younger men. I mean, younger women. So,
I don't think that's true, HQ. I think men who are
men like younger women.
Yeah, but if I'm 26, if I date a 28-year-old, I don't think is that they want younger women. I just think they're not ready. They're not ready. They're not ready to date. They don't have
Men
enough
are not ready
resources
to date, or
take
women
care.
are not ready to date. Men.
I think men at that age, like under 30, 35, they're not ready because you can't take care of a woman. You broke. That's why I had a man asking me if I could rent him a car.
So let me tell you guys something. I got married when I was 27. And
Okay.
but because of what I was taught, so you got to be prepared to be a husband. I just went to I shared last week or a week before last, I went to a wedding for this kid who just got back off his mission, and he met a girl and they got married a little over a year later, just a couple weekends ago. But he's been prepared to be a husband. He has an understanding what that means, and also she understands that they are going to have to build together. Mm-hmm. But my point is that the longer you wait, then you make it harder on yourself to find a man, and then I think you put you in panic mode, especially if you don't have kids. If you're over 30 and don't have kids and you really, really want them, I think you're in panic mode at that point if you're really trying to find a husband. Right. Instead of doing it earlier and building with somebody. Or if you're like 22, why not marry somebody who's 28? It's 6 years. He should be at least beginning into his career if you chose correctly. If you pick a nug, then you're not even ready to be married anyway. You're still picking those kind of guys if you say you want to be married. Right. But I think waiting is. I think waiting is not going for women. I think waiting is not going to help you out. I think it puts you into desperation mode if you're after 30 and then you want to have kids, and then now you're having to compete with younger women because now you want a man that's your age or older.
Yeah, but the younger ones, the ones that they get involved with, normally around the same age, pretty much around the same age. That we're not in the same. You have to find somebody who's in the same same plane as you, who want to get married, who wants to stop playing that game, regardless of whether they're the same age or a little bit older. Even if you're 30, it's possible to find people with like mind. You just have to be serious and intent in order to find that person. I mean, if I was 30, I would know exactly how to go about and get somebody that I wanted to marry. I would be as feminine and fit as I could be everywhere I went. I wouldn't frequent. See, I've never really I never really went to clubs because I never really touched alcohol. So I don't know anything about the alcohol. I think the last time I had alcohol touch my lips was 15 years ago. I was never one of those people that went to clubs and drank and did those kind of things. I was always being feminine and fit and doing all of those things, even when I was younger, right? So when you're 30 and you're intentional in trying to get a relationship, there's things that you have to pull yourself back from. Okay, girls trips, things like that. You have to pull yourself back from those things. So I'm not saying she's more or less vulnerable when she hits 30. I'm saying she has to be hyper focused, because I think Kevin Samuel said that you got to be hyper focused on what you want, because you had all the time in your 20s to get what you want, but now the window is kind of closing. So it's not a matter of desperation. It's just a matter of you focusing. I believe if you go to places where people are like-minded with you, you will find what you're looking for. But
that's true, HQ. He said focus like a laser. And when I heard that, I got on my grind as far as going out campaigning to find me a man. I started walking 5 miles 3 or 4 times a week, making sure I was in shape, making sure I bought the right clothes, and going places where going like professional places where I had to pay to get in. I actually met my boyfriend at a sneaker ball fundraiser for one of his organizations. It was so crazy, but I definitely put in the work and I got my result. So yeah.
And you guys think that's the better way to do it? Okay, so yes, there are women who are already in a danger zone, but think about this. This is the way I'm thinking about it. You guys can correct. You guys are more than willing to tear my premise apart. So to me, I don't understand how it makes sense for a woman who says or man or a woman, but in this case, speaking about women, why would a woman wait to the danger zone or later to find a husband, and then she finds that husband? Why does it make sense to have that man that you finally picked been influenced 12 plus years by other women before you decide that you're ready to get him?
Pink pill.
I don't
Does
know.
that question make sense? Do I need to restate it?
Restate.
Simpler terms.
Okay, so you become an adult at 18, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in 18 to 30 is 12 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you and the man turn 18 at the same time. You don't know him, he doesn't know you. You guys go through life. You don't want to get married. He may or may not want to get married to somebody, and you guys both meet at 30, and you decide to pick him. Unless he's been a monk and 100% celibate, there have been other women who've been influencing that man's perspective on women for those 12 years. Do a woman who wants to be married, does she think that that's wise to let that man be influenced by other women for 12 years before she decided that she needs to have him?
Oh God, no, because he's probably ran into some of the lowest of the low type women, and his like perspectives on relationships are super skewed. So I don't think so.
Hence my point that people should be getting married earlier, because the more you let your possible spouse in the future before you meet him and get married, the more that person's out there on the market that's more influenced by other women and or men, depending on which gender you are, that other people are going to be influencing them.
I just think it's just not encouraged.
It's just not. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's just not encouraged for women to get into relationships when they turn 18 or 19. The thing is, they teach us to stay away from boys and go to college and do all of this. Before I met my boyfriend, I was in school to be a lawyer. I didn't give a damn about dating or a boy. I was like, I gotta get my, JD and do my thing as a lawyer. But something. The pandemic really like stopped me and like made me realize I'm in this apartment in this brand new city by myself and I am alone. Like, damn, I need a man, but it's just not taught. Like, they don't teach us that we need men or we need to cohabitate with men at all.
Yeah, because it's very difficult. It's very difficult to tie down an 18-year-old girl. But then see, here's the thing. Nobody can look when you're that young. You think you're invincible. You think you have the world in front of you. And the last thing that you want to do is get tied down to a man for the rest of your life because they can't see it. They can't see being tied to the one dude, right? They just came from high school. They just ain't no man able to take care of them. So they can't see that. So I would never encourage them to be that young. I would encourage you to start when you're 25. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying 18. I'm just looking at the, is 12 years a logical amount of time to allow your spouse to be influenced by the other gender, whatever gender you are.
Oh God, no.
And it could be 20, 22. I'm just saying that 12 years seems like a long time to have that person out on the market, in the dating market, and believing that they're not gonna come in with some type of emotional scars.
But think about it, Q. Think about it. Would you have wanted to marry somebody at 18?
No, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to necessarily be 18. I mean, I just don't think 12 years. So, I mean, like if both go to college and they do like they're supposed to do in college, it should be done around 22, 23, ladies, depending on your birthday.
Right.
And so why isn't 22 better? 22 is much better than 20 and 30.
Oh yeah, I got married. Yeah. I got into the relationship. I got married when I was 22, 23. So no, that's not a bad age. I encourage, if you're going to do it when you're young, so you grow together. Money grows together, feelings grow together. You have experiences together, all of these things. I encourage it at that particular age, 20, 25. I give you 25, but between 25 and 30 is your best years in order to actually find somebody to grow with, to do all of those things with. Somebody that's younger than that, I could never see myself totally and completely in a relationship. But see, I was an old soul, so I could see it when I was 20. I could
HQ,
see it.
Can I say too, 23-year-old me and 25-year-old me are completely different people. I totally agree with the 25 to 30 is probably the best time frame. Not saying 23 is bad. Right. And all crap, I was gonna say something else. I forgot what I was gonna say. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm saying when you're that age between 25 and 30, I encourage that particular time. If you can do it between 25 and 30, that would be your best time because you're growing together. You don't have no money. He don't have no money. You don't know what's going on. You want to learn together, and you got to be open-minded. You
HQ,
cannot be
HQ.
stuck.
I
Right.
remember what I was gonna say.
Go ahead.
I think more Black people were getting married when hypergamy was more advertised.
Did this be the other one?
Really?
Because then you get with somebody older that already established, they could take care of you. You don't have to worry about money problems. Oh, I need a man to make this. I need a mature man. I need somebody that don't want to run the street. Get you somebody older. You probably gonna have to deal with those kinds of things. Even
But
me,
you know why?
my boyfriend is like 22 years older than me, and my family and my friends always say he's too old. He's using you. Blah 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 blah. But when I look at my relationship and I look at their relationship, I'm not going through all of the bull crap that they're going through. My relationship is healthy.
Yeah, but here's the thing. A lot of people, most people want to marry somebody within their age range of 5 years. Most people do. And that normally happens. So dating someone outside of that number is very different. It's not a normal thing. So we have to work within. So women have to be wait till they're older, because men under the age of 25 are not ready to settle down. Sometimes they're never ready to settle down until like after 30, right? And therefore, women, if they like women close to their age and they're 35, normally they will pick somebody that's 27, 28, 29. So that's the issue. Of course, an older man would maybe be ideal because he's established more. But women don't pick men because of that particular establishment. They like attraction. Just like men like attraction, women like attraction too. She's got to be attracted to him, right? She's got to like him. Like, look at me, for example. If I wanted to date, there's no way I would date a man right now, and I'm almost 60, close to 60, and he'd be 70. I just would, I don't know what I would even do. Where is a good starting point? What is a good starting point for an older man, right? So a woman who's 27 looking at a 40-year-old, she's like, wait a minute, he just too older than me. I just can't, you know what I'm saying? So they're going to pick somebody close to them. And hopefully he's mature enough to deal with the age difference and all of that. Hopefully he's ready to be married. So I recommend between 25 and 35, if you're going to get married, man or woman, to start the building process. Otherwise, it may, or it has a better chance of working. It just has a better chance of working.
I just think the statistics aren't on your side by having women wait that long. It just doesn't bode.
Yeah, but aren't you taking the chance that she's gonna leave you for somebody else if she doesn't know anybody except she's never had any other experience except marrying you at the age of 18 or 20? Don't you think it's a higher possibility that she's gonna find somebody who's better 2 or 3 years down the road as opposed to having seen somebody else before?
I will answer that question for you. And I don't know the exact number, and I'll give it to you guys when we meet up at a Regal Rumble one time. But the more successful marriages are those who are both virgins. So just so you said, and it was either done by Harvard or BYU, but nonetheless, that's what I'm talking about. We build appetites in anything we do consistently. We build up an appetite. And so, and if our appetite,
hold on, y'all, my man's calling.
And if those appetites are created sexually by various women or men, depending on, like I said, the gender, then you run the risk of when you finally find somebody, that are they going to be able to satisfy appetite that you gained by dealing with others? I don't know, and that's what I'm saying. That I get what you're saying, and I think a portion of your comment, HQ, and maybe I don't know if people agree with you, is that if we have created a community where we don't teach marriage early, and we can point fingers, but we are where we are, and so the only way we get out of this is, and I said this before, we're gonna have a couple of generations that are gonna take L's. Generation X, we already taken L's in Generation X.
Right.
It's going to be the one after us, and maybe part of the other one. we need kids to see people married and
Right.
and understand the mutual, how mutually beneficial it is to be together.
That mutual respect, that mutual road that they want to travel down. If you don't see that in your household, or you've never seen that, or you've never seen anything resembling a cohesive and structured relationship, it's going to be difficult to get people to get into those. It's going to be difficult for people to want to have marriages. You know how many people get online and say they don't want to get married? You know how many people get online and say they don't want to be in a relationship? I mean, I could never be on this planet by myself. I would hate that. I mean, don't people hate that? Don't you hate being on a planet by yourself? Doing everything by yourself? Women, doing everything by yourself. Facing the challenges in this world by yourself. Not having a sounding board in order to hear praise and be vulnerable with. Isn't that difficult to be on this planet and not have any of that and be happy? And I get it. Independent people want to do their thing, be autonomous, grow to the fullest extent of themselves. I get it. A lot of people want to do that. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. But I'm also saying it's a beautiful word. It's a beautiful road when you have another person to have those challenges with, to have those conversations with, to experience those things with, right? There's two different tracks, a marital track and a single track. I would like to at least try the marital track at least once. Wouldn't you want to try it once? And if you're successful at it, all the better. If you're successful at it, right? But don't stand on the sidelines and say, I can't find nobody. It's a billions and billions of people on this planet. You can find somebody. You can find somebody. Just change your pool of candidates. Just change your pool of candidates. That's all. If you're in the same city, the same town, doing the same thing, and you can't find a person, then maybe you need to change that. Maybe you need to explore the world more. Different races more. I ain't prejudiced at all. You know, you find who makes you find the person that completes you or makes you feel like the great person that you could be. That's all you got to do is find that particular person. If you ain't found it by now and you've been in the same place in the first in 3-4 years, I say change where you at. Because maybe that person is at the next stop in your life. Or maybe that person is at the next city that you go to. You never know. But if you keep hunting in the same pool and coming up with the same results, ain't no way I'd stick to the same pool. Ain't no way. Me and my husband, 2 different places in this world. He was from Alaska. Where the hell would I ever meet a man from Alaska? Right? He just happened to come to my hometown to work for my hometown, to work for a year, and then he was going to go back, and he met me. He just happened to come to my hometown and work for a year, and he came and he met me. So maybe it's a matter of changing where you at. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think I get what you're saying, HQ. But one thing I would interject. I think for most people, when they get to the point where they've been hurt or whatever, I'm like I said, just my opinion. I think people are more comfortable failing with what they're used to, instead of trying something new and the unknown and having to deal with the unknown. They will keep doing what they're doing because they know how to fail that way, and that's unfortunate. They keep, like I said, they keep dating the same type of people. They keep doing the same type of things, and they delude themselves into thinking that keep doing it the same way will change if they just keep pressing forward. And like I said, I think they're just comfortable with failing in a way that they know how the outcome is typically occurs, instead of failing some way differently. But
y'all wild. They wild in the chat. Yes, he was an Eskimo. He was an Eskimo. Yes, he was.
Yeah, I see Black in there giving people elbows.
Yes, he was. Shiesty Bum, thank you for the $4.99. Now, how did she get blocked? Just giving my opinion like everybody else. If you wanted people to just agree, say them out. No, we embrace all opinions. Look, I didn't have people in the chat calling me a ding dong. I didn't have people in the chat calling me a hyena. I didn't have people calling me all kinds of names. And I'm never offended because I understand people have all different types of opinions, and we welcome whatever opinions people got. Just don't be cussing people out in the chat. Okay? Just
Oh,
not
ding dong. You say ding dong? Somebody called you
Yeah.
a ding dong? Oh, my bad. My
Some
bad.
people call me a ding dong.
My bad.
And somebody called me a poly something. A poly snow puss or something. They said something, right? So they said all kinds of wild stuff. But I don't get offended. I never get offended because I'm comfortable in my skin. You're comfortable. So guys,
HQ, can I ask you a question?
mhm.
Why can't you be like this when you're on SBC?
Because SBC is wild. Because I love it over there. I just love the astounded faces when I say wild stuff.
Okay, fair.
Because
So
everybody
you
is astounded when they hear that stuff.
so you're a female Leon. You're a female Leon King, is what you're saying.
Right. And I appreciate it. I love being over there, Mr. Walker and Gavin. I love the whole thing. The thing is, when I speak over here, I'm speaking in terms of how relationships. I understand that people see trash on both sides because you hear it on both sides. Because I visit a lot of different places. Right? Hit the like button, guys. Hit the like button. So I hear all of that. He said I'm just pissing people off, but this is really what I'm saying over here is real. It's an extension of over there, but I'm less of a hyena over here because I really, really, really wish people could have what I had. And I hate when I hear people say there's no good women or there's no good men, because I know that there's beautiful people in the middle, right? There's beautiful people in the middle. And I want to capture those beautiful people who really, really, really want a relationship, who really want to change to get into a relationship, and who don't see people as black and white. And it's just this, and this. Them candidates on Kendra's show, they wild. They ain't no helping them. But the regular one of us that aren't on the internet, that aren't on the dating shows, we just normal everyday people looking for a way in.
I like this version of you a lot. I came in when you started talking about when you get up, fix your hair, look nice for your man, even if you're in the house. When I sleep over at my man's house, I always make sure I get my hair together, put a little bit of makeup on, a sexy outfit, and just prance around. I think that's so important. I think little tips like that are just so important because a lot of ladies overlook like the small things like that, or like making the bed or making him a meal or something,
Right.
So I love hearing this from you. It reminds me of like when my grandma was alive, how she would tell me, come in the kitchen and watch me cook this. And like just looking back, she's not here anymore, but just looking back, like she was trying to teach me something, I don't know. And I just love like the motherly feel that I get when you talk like that. So
Well, listen. Tune into the wife lessons that I
I'll
have
be
on
here.
Sunday at 1 o'clock.
I'll be
It's
here.
at 1 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock Sundays. It'll just be that where I give one lesson and try to give it, because I hate that we have such a divide and we have some good people that are just hurt and don't know the way. So we're gonna do it. And you're right, Pink Pill. When you wake up in the morning, you put your best foot forward. That means men and that means women too, right? You notice I've always come online, hair done, makeup, nails. You gotta look your best, regardless, right? You gotta look your best, because you never know who sees you. You can ask my nieces and nephews. Whenever I go visit them, I say, you got to be camera ready the minute you walk out the door.
Remember when black folk used to take pride in their appearance? Everybody used to get dressed up just to go anywhere.
Yes, so you have to do that. So please, Q, give me your last words, you and Pink Pill, please.
So my last words. So, like, I do appreciate these type of conversations, even if like we don't agree on things, just to get them out there. I think I think the worst thing that happened is that we had those 50 years when we was just hearing one side speak on things,
Right.
and it hurt. It put images in people's head who never experienced the things that were complained about, and it created fear in people's minds as well. I
Right.
think we're going to have probably another few years of people still arguing about these topics and their perspective and so forth. But I think we just got to keep working through them. Yes, some people are going to be upset, but try not to get upset. Just at least try to understand another person's point of view, and always try to pretend that you're not a part of the conversation and you are outside observer. Because anytime you put yourself in the conversation, you're going to constantly make excuses to make your point correct. Try to do it without yourself being a part of it, and as you're an outside observer looking at both sides that you're not a part of, and then I think you will see the situation more objectively, and then you will have better solutions to fix the problem.
See, when you get on other panels, it's always the men aren't ish, or the women aren't ish. I want men and women to be able to come over here and we have rational discussions about the issues that we have with each other. I want to be able to tell you, men are great. A good man is out there. A good man, when you have a good man, you don't have to worry about this garbage that we got going on out here. When you have a good woman is great. She gonna stand behind you. She gonna support you. She gonna be submissive the way you want her to be. And we have women and we have men out there like that. When I get on other panels, I am so discouraged when I get to those and that's all I hear is men ain't this and men ain't that. And I'm like, I don't know the men you're talking about. I remember the other day when G Honda and Jay got on the panel. I don't know those people. I understand that they exist in this world, but I only know goodness from people. I'm not saying that bad people don't exist. What I am saying is I would prefer to focus on the goodness of people to bring people together and not continuously fight to have them be separate. And I'm sorry, Pink Pill. Go ahead.
No, I agree. I pretty much got my final thoughts out. I'm happy that you're doing this like this. I really appreciate it. Because like I said, we need somebody to look up to in our community, and I'm not calling you old, but women who are over women who are over us, we need y'all to be the example, and we need y'all to talk the right way so that we get it. So I appreciate it, and I'll be here on Sunday.
Right. Thank you for being very vulnerable and making us all fall down that grape hole. So we felt comfortable enough to even talk about such a thing. So that's a good thing. But thank you, Q, and thank you, Pink Peel. And I look forward to you being on my panel again. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course. Thanks, HQ. Bye.
Thank you. So I say goodbye to the people. Okay. Love you guys. Thank you for coming out. Please hit the like button going out the door, just like you hit the panel coming in the door. If you have not, please and thank you. Mr. Walker, $2. We need your old ass. No, you didn't. Mr. Walker. Terrible. But I'm saying I love being here and talking to you guys because we need some kind of guiding structure. We understand the terrible things that are on this planet. I just want to see some good things. I want people to have what I have because I know it's possible. It's possible because we got good people who want to do good things. Okay? And that's all I want to see is us do good. I want to see us people win. And I think we can do that. So I look forward to seeing you guys on Friday. Love y'all.